Pali word. The Pali word dukkha originally meant pain and suffering, and the Buddha sometimes uses it in this limited sense when he speaks about unpleasant feelings of body and of mind and calls them dukkha vedana, painful feelings. But the Buddha took this word of common usage and he raised it to a higher level, a philosophical level where it expresses a deep and comprehensive vision of human existence. And from this perspective, this higher angle, the word dukkha comes to suggest a basic unsatisfactoriness pervading all existence, all forms of life, due to the fact that all forms of life are changing, impermanent, unstable, without any inner core or substance. The term dukkha thus indicates a lack of perfection in experience, a perpetual gap and unbalance between an ideal state we desire and hope for and envisage and the real state of our existence that we have to put up with, a condition that never really measures up to our standards and expectations. These are the ideas that are suggested by the word dukkha, and these ideas have to be taken into account if we're to understand the Four Noble Truths correctly. Sometimes when we explain the Buddha's teaching, we'll continue to use the common translation suffering, just because this word communicates rather more directly than the Pali word. Other times we'll stick to the Pali. But when we use the English word suffering, we should understand it generally in the deeper, more broader sense given to it by the Buddha, rather than in the limited sense as felt pain or unhappiness. Now something has to be said about each of the words in the phrase, Four Noble Truths. Each of these words is significant. First, what is implied by the word satya, truth? The Pali word satya has a different nuance than the English word truth. The English word truth usually means a statement or proposition corresponding to a real state of affairs. Truth is here a verbal formulation or a mental representation of a state of affairs. The Pali word satya means that which is. It indicates an existing reality rather than a true statement or proposition. Thus, the Four Noble Truths are not four propositions, but four actualities, four realities. The first truth is the state of dukkha itself. The second truth is its actual cause, craving. The third truth is its cessation, nibbana. And the fourth truth is the path, the Noble Eightfold Path. The fact that these are truths implies that they are not merely formulations propounded by the Buddha. The four truths are four actualities discovered by the Buddha, found by him, seen by him, quite independent of him. In his first discourse, the Buddha says that on the night of his enlightenment, with respect to the Four Noble Truths, the eye arose, the vision arose, knowledge arose, understanding arose. He gained insight into the truths. He saw them. He penetrated them. This means he didn't create them. When I see, for example, this lamp in front of me, my sight doesn't create the lamp. With my eyes, I just see what is already there. In the same way, the Buddha's enlightenment was a discovery of the Four Noble Truths, not a creation of them. And likewise, in following the path, what we aim to do is to awaken to truth, to the Four Truths, to open our inner eye, the eye of wisdom, so that we can see for ourselves the fundamental realities of human life. The truths which are always present but just hidden from our sight, due to the screen of ignorance. Now the truths are called Arya Satya, noble truths. And they gain the name noble truths for several reasons. We can mention three. The first is that they are the truths taught by the Aryan, the noble one, that is, by the Buddha. That's the simplest reason. A second reason is that they are the truths that lead to the Aryan state. An Aryan is a noble one. And these are the truths that can transform a person into an Aryan, into a noble one. In Buddhist doctrine, all human beings are divided into two general classes. On the one hand, there are the Putujanas, the ordinary people, the unenlightened people. Even if somebody might be quite extraordinary, but if he still lacks the eye of enlightenment, he's a Putujana, an average man, a worldling. On the other hand, there are the Aryans, the noble ones, those who are either fully enlightened or are in the process of awakening, or definitely on the path to enlightenment. Now, what distinguishes the ordinary people from the Aryans, from the noble ones, is just the realization of these four noble truths. Those who realize them, as soon as they see them, become inwardly transformed. They undergo a spiritual rebirth and become a new kind of man. They leave the ranks of the worldlings, the Putujanas. They enter the ranks of the noble ones, the Aryans. They become bound for enlightenment, incapable of turning back. Then the third reason the truths are called Aryan truths, the noble truths, is because they call for noble qualities. They call for the courage, the honesty, the wisdom, the profundity of character, to see reality as it is. The truths are just so, not otherwise, real and immutable. Tattva avitattva ananyata. Such as they are, not otherwise, immutable. And those who have the qualities to recognize these truths, these are the true Aryans. Then there are four truths, exactly four truths. And there are exactly four truths because the four